All right, our last section in Chapter 7 is going to look at proportions and triangles. And we're going to start with what's called the side splitter theorem. And that happens when if a line is parallel to one side of a triangle, so if we're looking at our picture here, RS is parallel to XY, and it intersects both sides. It intersects QX and QY at R and S. Then it divides those sides proportionally. So they have it set up, they say, hey, XR, this bottom left side, over RQ, the left top side, is equal to YS, the bottom right side, over the top right side, QS. Now remember section 1 when we looked at proportions, we talked about lots of different ways to write the same proportion. So in this case, they kind of did left bottom over left top equals right bottom over right top. We could do left bottom over right bottom equals left top over right top. Remember, there's those ways that we can rearrange it, and it's still true. So don't get hung up on whether or not you have it in the exact right format, because there are multiple right ways to approach this. And we'll practice it a few different ways in the next examples. So let's go ahead and put that side splitter theorem into play. So our problem 1 asks us for the value of x in the diagram at the right. So I've got this triangle PMN. Notice KL is parallel to PN, so we can use the side splitter. The side splitter says it splits these sides proportionally. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to do, like our example did, or like our theorem says, I'm going to do the left side over the right side. I'm going to start with the bottom left, so PK over KM. That's bottom left over top left equals bottom right is LN over top right is LM. Different ways that you could do that and it would still be right. Once you have that though, just go ahead and use substitution. PK is x plus 1, KM is 12, equals LN is x, and LM is 9. Once you've got your proportions set up, go ahead and use cross multiplication to solve. As always, don't forget those implied parentheses anytime you've got more than one term on top or bottom. So 9 times x plus 1 equals 12 times x is 12x. Distribute that 9, which gives us 9x plus 9 equals 12x. We want to get our x's on the same side, so I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides. So 9 is equal to 12x minus 9x is 3x. And lastly, get that x by itself by dividing both sides by 3. And 9 divided by 3 is 3, so x is equal to 3. So really, as long as you know how to set up those proportions, the rest is just review from section 1. Can you cross multiply and solve for a variable? Let's try another one of those. And this one I'm going to set up a little bit differently. I'm going to show you that it still works. So I've got this triangle here. I've got a segment in here that is parallel to the bottom. So I know that it's cut those sides proportionally. Instead of doing the left equal to the right, I'm going to do the top equal to the bottom. I'm going to say A over 12, so top left over top right equals bottom left, A plus 4 over bottom right, 18. So setting it up a little bit differently, but I'm going to show you that it still works the same way. So again, start by cross multiplying, have those implied parentheses, so we get 12 times A plus 4 equals A times 18, which is 18A. Distribute the 12, 12A plus 12 times 4 is 48, equals 18A. And get your A's on the same side again, so we're going to subtract 12A from both sides. 48 is equal to 18 minus 12 is 6A. And lastly, divide both sides by 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8, so A is equal to 8. Different way of setting it up. Still would have got the same answer as if I had done left equal to right. So just know that there's those differences, but they are both right. All right, the corollary to the side splitter is a similar type of concept, but it says if 3 parallel lines intersect 2 transversals, then the segments intercepted on the transversals are proportional. So I've got my parallel lines here. Those are lines A, B, and C, the lowercase lines. They go horizontally. And I've got 2 different transversals. One transversal is segment AC, the other is segment WY. And what we need to know about this is that their segments that are created by those transversals are proportional. And again, multiple right ways of setting this up, but in this case, they're taking the top left portion, AB, over the bottom left, AB over BC, and that's going to be proportional to top right, WX, over bottom right, XY. So let's see that one put into play. We've got a little scenario here that says 3 campsites are shown in the diagram. What is the length of site A along the river? So I'm looking for X here. That's site A along the river. And notice that they're proportioned off by parallel lines. So each of these lines on the left and the right side of this campsites are parallel, meaning that these two transversals, that would be the river and the road, the other two sides cutting off these campsites, are going to be proportional. So I'm going to set up my proportion by saying X, that's what I'm looking for, over 9 has to equal 8. Oops, I got a little high there. Let me try that again. I wasn't looking where I was writing. 8 over 7.2. So riverside over roadside has to equal riverside over roadside. Once you've got your proportion set up, cross multiply again. 7 times x is 7.2 equals 9 times 8, x, 7.2x. 9 times 8 is 72. Get x by itself by dividing both sides by 7.2. And 72 divided by 7.2 is 10. So the length of site A along the river is 10 yards. Using the same picture, we're asked to find the length of site C along the road. And I've got that labeled here as variable y. Where is y? Or what is the length of y, rather, not where is it, what is the length? So again, lots of right ways to set this up. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to say roadside y over the roadside at B, so 7.2, has to equal riverside y, or riverside C rather, 6.4, over riverside of B, 8. So I set it up using two different proportions, but they're going to cross multiply out and still give me the same answer. So 7.2 times 6.4 is 46.08, and 8 times y is 8y. Divide both sides by 8. 46.08 divided by 8 gives us 5.76 yards, and that's my variable y. That's that length of site C along the road. So anytime we've got those parallel lines cut by transversals, those segments are proportional. And our last theorem for this section 5 talks about a triangle angle bisector. It says if a ray bisects an angle of a triangle, then it divides the opposite sides into two segments that are proportional to the other two sides of the triangle. So what that's saying is anytime you've got that angle bisector, that side that you just split up into two different sides is proportional to the remaining sides. So here they've got CD, so bottom left, over DB, bottom right, is proportional to the remaining two sides. Left side over right side, CA over BA. So let's go ahead and put this into action. We've got two examples to wrap up this section. We've got a triangle here, RPS. We're asked to find the value of x. And notice QP here is an angle bisector. It split angle P in half. And so using that theorem there, we know that side RQ, one of the split portions from the angle bisector, over side QS is going to be equal to the left side, RP, over the right side, PS. Once you've got that much, just go ahead and use substitution to solve. RQ is 12. RQ is 10. Over QS is 18. Equals RP, there's my 12, over PS is x, my variable. Cross multiply, 10x is equal to 12 times 18, which is 216. Divide both sides by 10, and x is equal to 21.6. All right, let's look at one more of these to wrap up this section. So again, I've got my angle bisector drawn from this top vertex down, so I know that that side that's split over the remaining two sides are going to be proportional. So here I'm going to set up again a little bit differently. I'm going to take the left side, y, over the left side of the split, 9.6, and set it equal to the right side, 24, over the right side of the split. So again, as long as you're consistent, so I did the sides remaining on top, the split side on the bottom. A little bit different setup than how I started the last one, but I'm still going to go ahead and get the right answer. Y times 16 is 16y. 9.6 times 24 is 230.4. And then last step here, divide both sides by 16 to get y by itself. and y equals 14.4. If you have any questions, please let me know.